Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm going to take you through what I got from Japan. I went game hunting in Japan. I went game shopping in Japan. Game hunting, it's not really hunting because when you're in Akihabara in Japan, there's just games everywhere you look. So it's not really a hunt. It's more of a going through a supermarket and just picking out what you want. So I'm going to take you through that. I really stuck to the main shops. So obviously Super Potato, which is the big one. It is overpriced, but this I still found some alright deals there. I found another shop called Retro Game Camp, I think it was called, and they had some alright deals too. The other two main ones that everyone sort of talks about is Book Off or Hard Off, which is kind of like a thrift shop, a bit like a Cash Converters, and Surugaya, which is again another sort of Cash Converters thrift store. I found Surugaya to be better than Book Off in my personal experience. Book Off was more junk stuff, so you'd find like a lot of tubs full of shit, basically, like fucked up Famicoms or fucked up consoles that are smashed or completely discolored, look like shit. But Surugaya was a bit more tailored and a bit more, I guess, upper market, I suppose. So I had better luck at Surugaya, and these stores are everywhere. They're like, there's probably like 5 or 10 of them in Akihabara alone. And the other one I really liked was a little place called Beep. And Beep is a small kind of hidden gem down this dodgy staircase, and you go in, and it's actually they mainly do vintage computer stuff, which is kind of unusual in Japan from what I understand. Commodore stuff and Sony MSX things and big box PC games, but they also had a decent collection of console games, which is what I was mostly into. So I highly recommend Beep. That's probably the coolest one, the coolest shop I found. You got to go to Super Potato because that's just the tourist destination. It is a tourist trap, and that it is very overpriced. Anything you find in Super Potato, you'll probably get on eBay for cheaper anyway. But the thing is, you're in Japan. Everything is just like this. Everywhere you go, all the games are wrapped up in these nice little plastic things. They take the time to take care of their stuff and put effort into it. And honestly, like, even the loose stuff you come across is sometimes just in better condition than most of the crap you find here at home in Australia. So I'm going to take you through my collection. I'm going to go through it in Aussie dollars because that's how it is for me. So about roughly, it's roughly like 100 yen to $1. And yeah, the thing you'll notice is that everything is in, not everything, but most games are in very good condition just by default. It's actually more uncommon to find games in shit condition. I don't know, I guess it's just a cultural thing in Japan where they took better care of their games. I'm not sure, but all the PS1 games, all the cases were perfect. All the Famicom and Super Famicom games, most of them are like in tip-top shape. They're all clean. There's no scratches. There's no junk, basically. There are junk piles in game shops, but the junk piles are generally like things that are slightly discolored or slightly scratched. There's like none of the crap you'd find in a shit fucking Cash Converters in Hopper's Crossing. Like, forget it. Like, you're not finding any of that crap in Japan. It's all tip top. And having said that, even the stuff that's junk, which is sold without a guarantee or without a warranty, for like $1, like one of the shops we went to, we found a big box of Super Famicom games for $1 each, and it's labeled junk. We took them home and they all fucking work for like $1 each, and we're talking like Mario Paint and Mario Kart for $1. Like, what the hell? Like, that's so bloody cheap. But so yeah, I'm going to take you through what I got from Japan. I'm not a massive collector. I've got a relatively modest collection, as I mentioned. All right, so I'm going to go through the consoles first. I bought 5 consoles all up, and I'm going to go through these in Australian prices, Aussie dollars. So first up, I got a Mega Drive. So I paid about $80 for this. It came with only a power supply unit, no controller or AV cables. In hindsight, I probably overpaid for this, and on closer inspection, it's actually, I'm not quite happy with the condition it's in. A few scratches here and there. And it was really one of the first things I bought, so I hadn't gotten to know what was out there yet. But I actually could not find any other Mega Drive consoles for around that price, so it may have been the only one I would have come across anyway. So my plan for this is to modify it with a 50-60 hertz region mod. So that will be good. Next up is the Super Famicom I got from Retro Game Camp, I think it's called. So I'll just add that this one came with a guarantee. So I did test it and it works perfectly fine. This one also came with a guarantee. It's nicely wrapped up. You can tell it comes with all the cables, aftermarket cables and power supply, but the controller is really nice. It feels brand new, to be honest. And the first one I bought actually had some issues playing games, so I brought it back the next day and they swapped it over for me, no problem. So that one I paid about $90. Again, probably it's quite close to what you'd pay at home for something like this, but I mean, look at it. It looks brand new. I mean, I can't fault this at all. It looks like it's just come out of the 1980s, you know, or 1990s. All right, next up, we've got the junk consoles. So a lot of these places will sell consoles that are labeled junk, or they call them junk because they're either not working, not tested, or that it come with no guarantee or no warranty. So we've got a Mega CD here. This was about $35. So this is Aussie dollars, by the way, Australian prices. I can't remember where I got this. It might have been from Beep in the junk pile. Now, I did see one of these boxed for about $200. No, it was close to $300, and that was without warranty as well. So I think for $30, I did not bad. So my plan is to restore this. Again, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's going to be a little side project, so I'm in no rush to get this up and running. But yeah, $30 for a broken Mega CD, I think that's not bad. Next up, I got a Sega Saturn. Again, that's about $30. I think I got this from a book off, which is again kind of like a thrift store, a bit like a Cash Converters. It was just in the junk pile. I think that says that it doesn't turn on, does not power on. So again, this will be another little project for me to restore and take my time with. So $30, not bad. Now this one is the PC Engine. I can't remember where I got this. It may have been from a Surugaya. I can't remember. But I did see one of these in another store for about $200 Australian, and it also came with no guarantee. So this was about $70, $75, which is not bad. I'm guessing that the only problem with this, and I could be wrong because I haven't tried it out yet, haven't tested it, but I'm guessing the only problem is that the disc tray is a bit floppy, and this bit fell off. So that needs to stick in there like that. I could be wrong though. It could be completely buggered, and again, this would just be a side project for me to deal with. So there are my consoles, and next we'll move on to the games. So for games, I mainly stuck to Super Famicom, Famicom, Mega Drive, and PS1 games, and then a few other random things here and there, which I'll get to. But starting at the top, first off, I got these plastic cases from Super Potato for about $7 or $8 for a pack of 5, which I think works out a little cheaper than what you'd buy them online. But these, I'm assuming these are better because they're made in Japan. But yeah, I don't actually know, so I just bought a handful of those. Okay, first up, I've got a Mega Drive controller. So that's from Beep. Beep is a really cool kind of hidden vintage computer store. There's really nothing else like it in Tokyo anyway, in Akihabara. And they focus, mostly on vintage computer stuff, big box PC games, but they do have some regular console stuff. And I probably paid a bit much for this, but it looks brand new, so I just grabbed it. The buttons feel really good. Here I got a couple of really cheap $1 PS1 games. I think that's a PC game. I don't know what that is. It's a PS2 game there, but I got Point Blank for $1, so I just grabbed it. Starting with Super Famicom. I think this is from Book Off. So Book Off, again, is kind of like a cash converters or a thrift store. They all tend to be around the same price, about $5 for a Famicom game. I just sort of grabbed anything that looked cool because, to be honest, I didn't have a lot of time to really sit in the store and Google a lot of stuff or look up eBay prices. So most stuff here is, around $5-6. So I don't know if, they were great deals or not, but I mean, it's $5, Next up, we've got Super Famicom. Oh, sorry, we've got PC Engine games here. I've got these from a bunch of different stores, I think, and it's really nice. Everything just comes in this little plastic. Everything's wrapped up in plastic, beautiful. So, Bomberman, $12. This game is a bit more expensive, about $30, $35. I think it's called Legendary Axe or something like that. I wanted to get a handful of PC Engine games just because I've got the junk console there. Super Famicom. So these are from a bunch of different stores. $7. Super Street Fighter. Some of these games are really dirt cheap. $3 for that one. I don't know what that is. $8 for Bomberman. $5 for Dragon Ball Z. Space Invaders, $3. I mean, anything for $3 is a good deal, right? And yeah, again, I didn't have a lot of time to really look up what these games were. I just sort of picked whatever that seemed good at the time. And I've got a couple of Mega CD games, just because I've got the console there and I wouldn't mind just trying it out once I get it up and running. Here I've got some Mega Drive games. Some of these are from Super Potato, which is generally quite overpriced. But I think these were reasonably priced. So this is called German Blitzkrieg, which I thought sounded kind of cool. It's only $17, and it's a bit discounted because there's some damage to the cartridge. I couldn't see any damage, to be honest. This is better than most of what I've got in my collection. And I did tend to stick to loose games because they're just so much cheaper. And I tend to go for, I guess, quantity over quality. So I don't mind having loose cartridges. I prefer it, to be honest. This is Shenmue, which is, I can't remember the English name, but it's quite an expensive Mega Drive game. I can't remember what the English translation is, but I was pretty happy with that price, $22 for that. and then a couple of other random games. Herzog's Y, which I'm pretty happy with. That's a boxed for 25 bucks, so pretty good. Again, there's probably some damage to the instruction manual, which is fine. I mean, look at this. Look how shiny. It looks brand new. It looks like it was just made today. Yeah, some Super Famicom box games. 18 bucks for this one. This is one I thought it looks kind of cool because of that picture there. And I've got a Kirby, I think Kirby Superstars or something. That was 12 bucks. 12 bucks for a boxed Super Famicom game. It is in poor condition, but again, like, it's pretty much better than what I've already got at home. Some of these games are in really trash condition, so pretty happy with that. For $12, that's pretty good, I think, for me anyway. All right, now starting off with the PlayStation games. So Space Invaders there, 4 bucks. I mean, far out. You know, any PS1 game for $4 is pretty good for me anyway. Now this one, I don't know what this is. It's some sort of, I guess there was some sort of satellite TV service thing for the PS1 back in the day. Yeah, so for 6 bucks, just a bit of history. I don't know. Seemed kind of cool. Now this is probably the best thing I've picked up. So I've got Final Fantasy VIII for $5. That's pretty bloody good. 5 bucks. And Final Fantasy VII, this is the international version for $9. Again, pretty bloody good. I can't remember where I got this, but I think most of the games I've got are quite reasonably market price, but I think these two are probably among some of the best things I got for that price anyway. $5. I don't care what country you're in. 5 bucks for a first, you know, main title Final Fantasy game is pretty good on the PS1. Got some Namco collection games. 9 bucks for that one, 10 bucks for that one. Seems pretty cool. Don't know much about it. Got a Mega Man X6, $15. This one's pretty good. Favorite Story, 9 bucks. I know the PAL version is quite expensive, so I thought 9 bucks for that one's not bad. $3 for whatever that is, I don't know. It's just 3 bucks, that's fine. Tomb Raider, 9 bucks. Dino Crisis, 9 bucks. Ape Escape, 9 bucks. And Bomberman for 15. Again, some of these I may have overpaid for. I didn't really have a lot of time to just look up eBay prices. So, you know, for me, 15 bucks for a decent PS1 game is a good deal. And moving on, we've got, here we go. The Last Story on the Wii for $9. So the PAL version again is worth, you know, goes for over 100 bucks at the moment. I think the Japanese version you can find on eBay for about 30, 40, 50 bucks. So I think $9 is all right. And just a couple of other random games. Nothing to brag about. I don't mind this one. So again, that looks brand spanking new, except for that scratch I've just noticed. But other than that, I thought that was pretty good. That Dark Souls was a couple of dollars. I thought I'd just grab it. This is pretty unusual. I found a American version limited run of this game, limited run games. I think that was about 30 bucks or so, 30, 40 bucks. Fire Crab, about $30, something like that. This Capcom collection was about 40 bucks. I can't remember where I got this, but this was from one of just one of those regular game shops that sold modern games. So I got two of those, one for a mate, and Spelunker collection or something for about $30 on the Switch. And moving on, so I got this for someone else, so I don't know much about 3DS games. That's not really my thing. So 3DS tended to be, I didn't find a lot of 3DS stuff. It was quite, I just didn't come across a lot of it, which is sort of weird because in Australia, these things are a dime a dozen. And I found one in, I think it was a Surugaya for about, it was $100. And honestly, that was like the best deal I found in 3 days for a working 3DS in good condition. So I don't know if that was, whether that was a good deal or not, but that's that. Had to pick up a charger separately for $10, which I thought was fine. So that's okay. And then I've got a bunch of handhelds here. So Mega Man for $6 for Mega Man there on the GBA. Bomberman for $9. Got a couple of Game Boy games. It's $3. Tetris, whatever that is, $4, $5. Got a Game Boy Color game for $5. I don't know what that is. I just grabbed it because it looked cool. And I've got some 3DS games to go with that 3DS. $2 for Monster Hunter. I thought that was a really good deal, $2, until I found the boxed version for $2.60. But anyway, Monster Hunter seems pretty cheap over there, $2 for that one. Dragon Ball for $6, Donkey Kong Country something $4, and Mario Kart DS for $6 or $7, which is pretty good because the Aussie one goes for about $15 to $20, sometimes a bit more. And that, again, I feel like this is a recurring theme, but look at that. It looks like it's just come off the production line. And this thing here, so this is a Game Boy like power bank basically. I'm sure it doesn't work these days by 30 years later, but it was $3. So just a cool collector's thing to have. And there you have it. So I picked up about 60 games. I'm not including the stuff I got for other people, but about 60 games for myself, about 5 consoles over there. Look, again, this is my first time in Akihabara, so I was a bit rushed. I didn't have a lot of time to really explore other options and take it all in. So I'm not sure whether I overpaid for some of this or whether it was I did okay. I think I did okay. I mean, it's really, at the end of the day, it's worth what you think it's worth, I guess. So for like I was saying, those Final Fantasy games for $5, $9, I don't care. Like for me, that's a great deal because they're good games. Again, Herzog's Wife for $20 boxed, or $25, whatever it was, $25. So I do know that some of these are probably overpaid for, as I said, but again, like I had a short time to really just go through stuff, and I was really just grabbing stuff off the shelf that looked interesting, and I don't like really paying exorbitant prices for a single game, especially like all these boxed. They had a lot of boxed Famicom games for like $50, $60, and they were just very average titles like Metroid or Castlevania. Somewhere $100, and it was just like, you can sort of just get that eBay prices back at home. So I just sort of stuck to things that looked cool, things I needed in my collection, like R-Type, things like that. Now, there is one game I got that I did spend an exorbitant amount of money on, and I'll show you. And that's this little one, this Sega Saturn game right here. I'll get the other one out. So I got Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I've got the PS1 version. I probably paid about $150 for that off eBay about a year ago or so, because that's one of my favorite games, and the PAL version is like $500. It's just outrageous. So I got the American version for about $150. I've always really wanted the Sega Saturn version, and that's kind of why I got that Saturn right there, because the Saturn version of this game has a couple of extra levels. And even though it's graphically inferior to the PlayStation version, I just really wanted this one, and I've been chasing it for a long, long time. I definitely probably paid too much for this. It was about $350. I got it from Super Potato. It was a one-off. I went to a bunch of stores and asked for this game specifically, and no one else had it in stock. Super Potato had 2 copies, and when I came back the next day, because I thought I'd think about it, I came back the next day and one of those copies was already gone. So I just grabbed it, you know, and I figured I probably could have got a better deal on eBay if I was patient and I waited and won an auction. But I figured, you know what, I'm in Japan, I'm in the game capital of the universe. This looks fucking perfect. Look at that. Like, I just thought, you know what, just do it. So that was my big purchase, my big spend. And it's nicely wrapped in plastic. I'll probably, you know, I won't open it for a while. I'd like to keep it nice and mint in there. And yeah. So all up, I spent about $1.5 grand on those consoles and the games combined. I was limited, obviously by budget. I couldn't spend too much money, and also what I could fit in my check-in luggage. So Japanese postage is very, very expensive, and if I was to put all this into a box, it probably would not be worth it, even shipping it over, because the price would be so expensive. So yeah, I just shoved it all in my bag, and a couple of these games got a bit damaged, like that one there. It got squashed a bit, so there's a few cracks here and there, but that's okay. I would love to have spent a lot more time just shopping around, but honestly, a lot of these stores, you're going through these shops and there's like 10,000 fucking Super Famicom games, and they're all stacked like this on the shelf. So you have to sort of go through and look at the picture of each one, because I don't read Japanese, obviously. I don't know what I'm looking at when there's, you know, 50 or 100 of these on a shelf. And you're just spending so much time going through all this shit, and most of the time they're crappy games. And, you know, you sort of... The really good games like this one are kept in the glass cabinet. But, you know, like... I found that on the shelf, that was on the shelf, but you have to go through so many. So, you know, you need a lot of time to just find some stuff that you're after. One thing I will say is that there was not much Mega Drive. It was really Nintendo land in Japan, in Akihabara anyway. And you can tell just by the distribution of, you know, Nintendo, tiny bit of Mega Drive there, and some PlayStation stuff. So yeah, Nintendo was really the big thing over there, which is a shame, because I really like collecting for Mega Drive, especially because it mostly it's easier to find this stuff in boxed, whereas yeah, Nintendo's tends to be loose more. And as I said, you can get boxed stuff. In fact, there was quite a lot of boxed games, but you know, once they sort of start going over the $30 mark, $40, $50, $60 for one game, I think it's, you know, I'd rather own 4 of those than one of these. So here you have it. Here's a dickhead's guide to game shopping in Japan.